Welcome to the Princess and the Bee podcast, the place to be to build your empire as queen of your body, business, and life. I'm your host, Kimberly Spencer, founder of crownyourself.com, and I'm an award-winning coach, Amazon best-selling author, and multi-passionate entrepreneur. Each week, I give you the systems, strategies, and success stories to help you master your mindset, communicate with ease, and triple your productivity so you make the income and the impact you deserve. Imagine this podcast as your weekly spark of inspiration as you take it to the next level with all the B's of your life. Body, business, bank account, boys, and babies. Let's make it rain. Hello and welcome back to The Princess and the Bee. I am your host, Kimberly Spencer, founder of crownyourself.com, and I am so excited to have you joining me here because holy moly, I have a topic that has been on my heart since working with some amazing women in my coaching. And there has been a common problem that has been reoccurring that I felt is necessary to be addressed because it's a problem and it's holding you back from really achieving all that you desire and becoming the woman that you know in your soul and in your heart and in your gut that you can become. And so what this pattern that I've seen is women who are like coming to me and they're like, Kim, you don't understand. I am like so ready to go all in. I'm going all in. I am diving in. I am doing this. I am going all in. And then suddenly they like disappear for weeks or months. And they always come back. But when they come back, I was like, girl, what happened? And what happens is it's kind of like when you go in the jacuzzi and your body gets used to a certain temperature, right? So it adjusts to the hotter temperature and you're like soak in and it's like, oh, this is comfortable. This is really, really nice. And then someone dares you to jump into the pool. Now the pool is cold. The pool is really cold. And so this is what happens. Someone dares you to jump into the pool, and so you're all warmed up and comfortable in your jacuzzi, and you're like, okay, fine. And so you go and you run and you cannonball into the pool, and it is freaking cold. And it's not just cold, it's like freaking cold. Why? Because your body temperature had already gotten used to the jacuzzi temperature. And so even though your normal body temperature not post jacuzzi soaking, but your normal body temperature of like 98.7, I believe that is warmed up at a higher level. It's at a different level. It's hot in the jacuzzi. It's gotten up a little bit. And then you jump into the pool and your body's like, fuck, that's cold. And what happens is this is the same pattern that I have. And so what happens is you jump into the jacuzzi again. You're like, oh my God, that's so cold. That's so cold. And then you like run very carefully to back to the jacuzzi, careful so you don't slip. And you're like, okay, oh, the jacuzzi feels so nice. Oh, it's a little extra tingly. It's a little more uncomfortable at first, but then you kind of soak in and you're like, oh yeah. But that pool is still there. So that's what I've noticed. And it's a very common problem that I have seen with people who are ready who say in their mind and maybe do the actions, some actions, and they're like, I'm ready to go all in. And these are the clients that I have to remind them a few times, sometimes like months prior of like, oh, remember in our last session, like 3 months ago, we talked about doing that same thing and you still haven't yet done it. This is when it's about your identity. This is when it really comes down to who do you believe that you are? Are you the person who is easily swimming in that pool effortlessly, or are you the person who is sitting back in the comfort zone of the jacuzzi? And the jacuzzi zone might be nice, but sometimes that jacuzzi zone gets rather hot, like really hot. And it starts to get pretty uncomfortable and you want to cool down. So maybe you step out and you go and, have the fresh air, but still the fresh air is really cold. Or maybe you go and you jump into the pool and you're like, ugh, that's really cold. And then you run back to the jacuzzi. So what happens is that your brain, as soon as you hit the cold water, your brain is thinking, holy shit, this is not my temperature. This is not my temperature. And then your conscious mind, your ego gets to work. The conscious mind and the ego are different, but they're kind of working synergistically. Because what's going to happen is your ego's like, this is not my temperature. I think I'm going to die. The fear-based mindset is like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. I think I'm going to die. This is really freaking cold. I'm going to go back to the jacuzzi where I'm comfortable. At least I was comfortable. And like, I don't know if I can handle it. Let me try. Let me just go back. And so what happens is you skyrocket out of that place that you wanted to be. So do you see that the problem is you have not yet acclimated to the temperature of the water in the place that you want to be. Even if you want to be swimming and the pool looks super refreshing and cool and amazing and you can just like lounge around in one of those unicorn or flamingo inner tubes with your drink, but the jacuzzi is like really, really comfortable. And you're like, I don't know. That looks really amazing. I'm getting really hot and kind of starting to sweat and feeling like dehydrated in the jacuzzi. So I'm going to just run right. Let's test the waters. And so you cannonball in, but your brain starts going to work as soon as you hit the water. Like, holy shit, this is not my temperature. Oh my God, I'm going to die. What do you like? And then you get out and you run back to the jacuzzi. And so what this is how to train is shifting your identity to be the person who is easily and effortlessly hanging out in the pool. No problem. Hanging out where you want to be, in the pool of where you want to be. So how we do this, there are two ways to do this. And I am always a big believer in starting with the physiology first. So, and that's just because it's a lot easier than sometimes our own mental and emotional games. And that's just been my experience. So you want to start training your brain to hold out a little longer, to hold out in that space of discomfort until the body can acclimate to the water. So when your body hits the water, and I'm using this in a metaphorical standpoint, obviously, when your body hits the water, or when you decide to pull the trigger and invest in yourself, or when you decide to launch the business and you go, okay, I'm going all in, and you do it. And then you're like, oh crap, this is scary. This is what I think I'm going to die, because that's what your brain is saying. Because it's scared of rejection, or it's scared of judgment, or it's scared of success, of actually like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to die. Is the grass really greener on the other side? I don't know. This is really cold. This is a different temperature. I'm not used to this. What the fuck? And so it's repeating these things that are like survival chatter in your brain, when all your body needs to do is it just needs to acclimate to a different temperature. So in a physical standpoint, if you were to choose to do this on a physical realm, this is how I actually do this on a daily basis, is I take very, very hot showers. I love my hot showers, and I don't take very long showers because I have a toddler, but I love the time that I'm spending in the shower, and I'm shampooing my hair, and I know my future self, she showers every day. So that's what I do. And then I take that hot shower, and then the last 30 seconds to a minute, I turn that shower that went from steaming, warm, hot, not even warm, it's hot. Like my husband can't even handle it if we're taking a shower together. He's like, oh my God, Kim, you like that shower really hot? And I was like, yes, I do. I love it. Like really nice and hot, like tingling hot. I then crank the temperature to cold, like to as cold as it can be. And those first couple of seconds, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I can hold out. I am strong. And I'm repeating affirmations in my mind as my body absorbs the fact that I can quickly adapt to another temperature setting. What this is doing on a physiological level, it is training my brain, because how you train your body is how you is how you prepare for your life. I am training my brain to quickly acclimate to another level, to a different temperature. That's one way. Because this prevents you from jumping out and going back to the comforts of your old life, or going back to the comforts of what you used to do, or going back to what your old patterns and whatnot. This is actually training your brain and your body on a physiological level to acclimate and to adjust fast. So that's one way. Another way and I used to do this when I was training Pilates, and my clients both loved and hated the fact that I would do this. And I didn't know because I didn't know all that I know about the unconscious mind that I know now. But back then it was just kind of an unconscious thing of like, I wanted my clients to work hard. I wanted to work hard in the class. When I would teach mat classes, I would do it with my clients. And I would just say in the middle of an ab set, we would get to 1. We would count down. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I would shout out, 10 more. And that is how I was able to teach 10 hours a day teaching Pilates and co-write a screenplay that then also got produced, and how I was able to do both and pursue 2 businesses, 1 freelance writing, 1 teaching Pilates at the same time. Now, I don't recommend that. I do recommend sticking with your one thing. Pilates was never like my main thing, and it was never supposed to be my main thing. I just was really good at teaching it, and I really enjoyed it. And I loved all my clients, just like I love all my coaching clients. It's amazing. And one of the things, though, was that phrase, 10 more, repeating it day after day. Like I said, 10 hours a day teaching. So every time, even in a private session, when my client would finish 1 ab set, I'd be like, all right, 10 more. And they'd be like, But what I was doing was I was unconsciously training their brain to withstand discomfort a little longer, because the result was always phenomenal. The result of how you felt afterward was amazing. The same is true when you're doing sales prospecting. The same is true when you're doing reaching out to potential podcasts to have you on as a guest, or reaching out and doing PR for your business, or reaching out to doing lead generation. Whatever it is that in your business, you can also train it into your body of doing 10 more, of just saying, okay, well, I said I would reach out to 50 speaking engagements this week. And then you hit 50, and then you're like, let me do 10 more. It's that extra push that separates you from the rest. It's that extra push that changes your identity to acclimate to a different temperature faster, because it's training your brain that you will do the work that is necessary to go to that next level, that you are no longer just the person who settles for only reaching out to 10 people. You're going to reach out to 20. You're no longer just the person who is going to settle only reaching out to 10 podcasts to have you on. You're going to reach out to 20. You're not just going to DM 10 influencers. You're going to DM 20, or you're not just going to DM 50 influencers. You're going to DM 60, or however many Instagram will allow you to connect with based on their filters. But whatever it is, like, you are setting yourself up for greater success because you are putting in the work that no one else will do. So you are, and you can train this in your body. And this is why I always say, go back to the physiological, because how you train your body will be how you train in your business and how you train in your life. So how you do this is when you're in the middle, and you don't have to do 10 more. Like, I'm not saying run, 5 miles and then do 10 more. Not necessarily true. No. You can do 10 more seconds. Hold that plank, just 10 more seconds. You can do 10 more reps of, you thought you were going to do 2 reps or 2 sets, and you're like, okay, I'm going to do 1 more set. I'm going to do anywhere from 1 to 10, but really allow yourself to have it, to ingrain it into your body of saying, okay, I finished those crisscross ab series, 10 more. And just practice that once a day at least, to do 10 more of what you thought you were capable of before. Maybe for running, you're running and you're like, okay, I'm a little tired, and you've been running for 20 minutes and you're like, okay, let me just push it. Let me run 10 more minutes. Let me just be out here for 10 more minutes, or 1 more mile, or 2 more minutes. But allow yourself and the challenge to do that, because I guarantee you that will bring you so much more success so much faster. The same is true in your personal life. If you are single, you go on 10 more dates, you are much more likely to meet someone or start that, or if you're dating someone, you go on 10 more dates with that person, you're going to have a pretty clear idea if this is someone that you want to spend some more time with. Or you may go on 1 or 2 more dates and you're like, no, no, thank you. I'm good. Next. It's about getting your body and your brain and your whole identity as a human and as a kick-ass empire builder and as a queen or a king, if you are a man listening to this. It is about shifting your identity into that person who can withstand staying inside the pool, who can withstand. So if you say, for example, you do this on a physical level and you do this on the shower example that I said, where if you have your hot shower, a nice warm shower, and then you turn it on cold and you just say, okay, it's cold. And you get to that point where you're like, I want to jump out of the pool. I want to jump out. And you're like, okay, 10 more seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Off. Awesome. Because what this does is it is training your brain on such a physical level, because you have neurotransmitters on every single cell of your body, and they are constantly sending signals to your brain of what you can withstand. So instead of allowing that ego fear-based mindset to kick in, when it kicks in and you're like, oh my God, this is really hard. Oh my God, I don't know if I can do 1 more. Or I don't know if I can do it. You're like, okay, I'm going to do 1 more or 10 more or however many more. But you set that goal of doing just a little bit extra. And yes, I was always the kid in the class who did the extra credit work. I fully admit I was a total nerd. And so that this is the extra credit, but this is also what puts you over the edge, what allows you to push that edge just a little bit longer. So say even in yoga, when you're holding that pose and you're holding your warrior 2 and you are strong and you're like, whew, your quad is a little shaky and you're like, okay, 10 more seconds. Let me just breathe into it. Let me just sink just that little extra bit deeper. And it's going to train your brain that when you're facing a problem in your business, or when you're facing an issue in your life, or you're facing something, you're like, okay, let me just 10 more deep breaths. Let me just reach out to 10 more people. Let me just do 10 more minutes with my spouse who has been feeling neglected because I've been so focused on other things. Let me just spend 10 more minutes with him. Or let me spend 10 more minutes with my son. Or however many children you have. That is a massive mindset shift that keeps you in the pool that you want to be in longer. So, tell me what you loved about this episode. If you on Instagram, what was your top takeaway? And if you really love this episode, please do me a big old massive favor and leave us a review on iTunes. And if you take a screenshot of said review and you email it to info@crownyourself.com, then I will send you a free hypnosis that is only available to those who send screenshots of their interviews. So let me know what you thought of this episode. DM me. I love interacting with you. I love connecting with you. I love taking our communication to that next level. That is always what I'm about, is always seeking out that next level better version of you, because there always is another next level. There always is. And that is the point. So, as always, own your throne, mind your business, and make it rain. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If what you heard resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and share your breakthroughs and ahas with me by leaving a review on iTunes so I can keep the magic flowing your way. And if you aren't already following us on social media, come experience the extra inspiration and queenly convos on Instagram at Crown Yourself Now, or visit our website at crownyourself.com. I am so excited to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and create a body, business, and life that rules.